Hi. My name is Beth Green, otherwise known as Granny Rocks.
And my name is James Maynard, otherwise known as Sweet Baby James, and you've come to Lighting the Way, Granny Raps and Rocks. So please chat with us. I'll be able to catch those chats and pass them on to Beth, and she can talk directly to you if you're live for this show.
In fact, I really hope some of you are live tonight and that you will participate because I'm going to be asking you to be part of the conversation. So, hope you're here. And don't feel shy about. So you can't obviously you can't talk. I can, but you can comment in the chat feature and put your comments in that feature, and I will be able to respond. Now, if you're not here live, then you can put your comments into the chat afterwards, and I will respond later. But I won't be able to do what I'm going to do with you if you're not here live, because this will be a live interaction.
And we have a comment already. And Elizabeth says, "Hello there." Sends a big heart of love and caring and lots of other things.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, thank you. So tonight I want to talk about, is it fear or is it anger?
And Blanquita is here and says, "Hello, Beth and James," and sends a couple of hearts of love. Thank you. Muchas gracias.
Gracias. Bienvenida. So I'm talking about, when I say is it fear, is it anger, I mean, what am I feeling? So the reason that this topic came up, because you know that I always have something to do with the topic tonight, is that I got very angry about something today, and I'm still angry about it. So I don't usually get angry and stay angry like this. But what I was asking myself is, why am I so angry? And then I had to ask myself the question, am I really angry or am I scared? And I thought, wouldn't it be fun to talk about that on the show tonight? And ask you to put out something that you may be feeling angry about, that you want to know if it's really angry or fearful. And if you put it in the chat, I am going to try to help you live. How do you like that? So I'm hoping I can do that, but I also need you to participate in order for that to happen live. You have to do that live, right? So anyway, there's obviously a distinct feeling difference between fear and anger. You know, fear is like, okay, that's what fear feels like to me anyway. And anger is, so obviously on a feeling level, oh, it looks like we have.
Oh, and Tracy says hello and sends a heart of love and caring.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Tracy.
Now that you guys have revealed that you're here, you may have to put in a question. Okay.
And Todd says, "Hi there, great topic." And
Oh,
sends a heart
thank
of
you.
love. Thank you, Todd.
Thank you. Great topic. I like that. So anyway, obviously on some level, the difference would be that we would rather be angry because it makes us look powerful, because it seems more powerful than, you know, mouse mania. And so I would rather be angry than admit that I'm afraid. But that isn't always what it's about. So I want to go a little bit deeper into it. And this is something I bet a lot of you are going to identify with. And by the way, I have no answers tonight. I'm just whatever's coming to me. I maybe have to do a process with myself to try to find out if I'm angry or afraid. Because I've been trying to answer that question all afternoon, and I thought, I'll do it on the show. I will be the patient and the doctor, the client and the therapist. So there it is. So let's say we are angry about global warming. Okay, it looks like we have another.
Oh, and Amy says, hi, Beth and James. Thank you for this.
Oh,
And
goody.
She sends love as well.
Goody, 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 goody. I hope I deliver something worth all this happiness. So some people are really angry about global warming. Why didn't they this? And why don't they do that? And they should have done this. And not that I'm saying that any of that is wrong, right? But is the energy behind that we're scared that our world is disappearing right in front of our faces? And we feel we feel powerless to do anything about it individually. Most of us, individually can't do much. And so we'd rather find them to get angry at. And we would feel really powerful, right? So I'm feeling really scared about the world, the fires, the hurricanes, the whole bit. The destruction of our ecosystem upon which we depend. And I also feel anger. So which is really the underlying feeling for me? So that was an example. Okay, so I am going to ask myself, and I want you to think about something where you're angry. And it could go the other way. You might be acting afraid, but you're really angry. Now, why would that happen? Well, maybe if you admit that you're angry, you will have to confront someone, and you're afraid to express that. So you go, you get, I'm so afraid. Because what your fear is that you're going to be angry. And that maybe something will have to change. You will have to confront something, or you may have to change something in yourself, which is even worse, right? But in my case, I have to look at, am I afraid or am I angry? Now, see if you don't identify with this one. So, let's say I had a daughter who was a drug addict. And I have tried over and over to put her in rehab, and she keeps ending up shooting heroines or taking fentanyl or whatever the drug du jour is. And it's like, okay, there she is, shooting up one more time or taking the drug one more time, almost dies, and I am angry. I've already mortgaged the house. And I mean, I know people who have done this. They've mortgaged their homes to pay for all these expensive rehabilitation programs, and the kid is still doing it. So are you going to be angry at this kid? And what is underneath that anger is the belief that she can do something better, that she can do differently. So there's a perfect example of why we would choose anger, because it makes it look like the person is doing it on purpose. See, I said I was going to get a little deeper than just that anger makes you feel more powerful. This is the little bit deeper that I want to talk about. How do we know, of course, whether or not the latest rehab is going to be the final one? I know a lovely young woman who went into rehab, kept getting, and then she finally stopped. Something happened, and she was able to stop. She got enough support. She hit bottom, whatever. So, And you never know when that breakthrough is going to happen. In fact, I was married to an alcoholic. It was really interesting because he kept going into rehab and he kept going out drinking and smoking dope again, or pot, or whatever they call it these days. Finally, after the third program, he went into the worst program of any of them, and he got sober. I mean, how do you know what I'm saying? You don't really know. But, so, if I am angry, I'm saying you can do better, and you're not. This is what you're doing to me. And the other side of that is the fear that they can't do any better and that they're going to die. So which feeling would you rather have in a situation like that, assuming that you still care about your daughter or the other person? You'd rather feel angry. You'd rather think that they are deliberately screwing you over or being difficult or not trying hard enough, because that means that they could try harder and they could recover, and then everything would be okay, right? Of course, nothing in life ever is okay, but you see what I'm saying? Whereas if you say, she can't help herself, or he can't help himself, and then you're doomed to the pain of the loss. So that's what I was looking at myself today, and I said, am I really angry at this person for what this person did? It certainly felt that way. Or am I afraid that this is the best that he could do? And then I feel hopeless. So I would love somebody to give me an example that they want me to help them with. But I said I would be the client in the meantime, and I am going to be the client in the meantime. All right? So, I'm the client. I feel so angry at so-and-so because they did it again. The very thing that they promised that they wouldn't do just yesterday. And I feel really angry. Well, first of all, it sounds like this person, this is a counseling session. This is happening totally spontaneously, right? I have no plan. It sounds like you are feeling great disappointment about what this person's behavior was. Client. Yeah, I do. I'm very disappointed. I was hopeful. I thought something was really going to change, and it feels like this is the same old behavior to me. Well, do you feel in your heart that this person is doing it to you, or that this person really can't help it? Or let me put it another way. What is the fear that could possibly be motivating this much anger? Well, in this particular case, it's a fear that the person really is incapable of understanding something. It's not just whether or not they are doing it to me. If I go deep in my heart, I say, okay, this person seemed to not understand me, even though I explained myself many times, but they went to someone else and then they suddenly seem to understand it. So it feels like they're doing it to me because they're blocking me out and taking that input from someone else. But there is also a fear that the person has come to a place where they just can't understand this, and then my whole life would be turned upside down, wouldn't it? Why do you say your life would be turned upside down? because then I would have to take into account that person's disability about what we're going to do in our lives. So it's like when you look at that, hopelessly addicted person, and you always wanted them to take over the firm, the business, and you see them hopelessly addicted. It's not just that you're angry at them, but you're also afraid that they are never going to take over the business and you're going to work forever. That's an example. So, because I don't want to get into the specifics of it, so I could say, well, I would have to make completely different decisions about my life if I really believed this person could not understand this point. Okay, well, you're explaining to me very wisely, I would say, what your fear would be. It's not only that you would lose this person, but that that you would have to change the choices that you make and take that into consideration. And whoever wants to, we always want to go on and do the things we want to do and pretend that reality isn't reality. It's like with global warming. We want to pretend that we can still do the same old things, even though we can't. In fact, we want to go to a certain place that has always been very nice, but now it isn't nice because the weather has changed. It's something like that. Well, we get angry because something that we want and expect. Oh, I think you're bringing up another point. I am bringing up another point. What I'm saying is your anger may not be about the fact that this person is maybe not listening to you. Your anger is that you can't have what you want because this person really can't understand what you're doing. So you don't have that child to take over your business, and maybe you can't retire. Or maybe you have to retire in a different way, that you would have to make some serious changes. Is that the case here? And I realize that we're not speaking about the specifics here, in fact. But is that the case here, that you're afraid that you would have to change your life? So now I, as the client, get to tune in and say, yes. So what I've discovered is that I'm angry because I'm afraid, but I'm not afraid of exactly what I thought I was afraid of, that it was something else. And that is helpful, because then I can deal with that fear. Okay? Maybe I can't actually read the comments because my eyesight is bad, but
I have it. Here's a comment. Amy says, I get mad at my housemate about many things because I always think that what she is or isn't doing is on purpose because she wants to upset me.
Okay, Amy, thank you for that example. So let's see what we can dredge up here, right? So Amy has given us an example of could you be having the same kind of situation that I am? If this person is not capable of being different, then does that mean that you might have to change your plans and not have her as a housemate? So you're facing the possibility that because your comfort is based on having a housemate, you have a relationship with, you have a certain income, and now you have to look at, well, is this person's behavior really enough to get you to ask them to leave, which means you have to deal with the consequences of that? Wouldn't it be better to just blow up, get angry, have it be over, and then you can go back to living exactly the same way without having to face anything or change anything? Are you understanding what I'm saying,
so
Amy?
many
I
of us
hope.
do that.
Yeah. So that would be my intuition about your situation, that you don't want to have to face the consequences of her being who she is. So you blow up and you know that it'll pass because you've done this before, right? And that, of course, is a cover-up for the fear. I mean, it's a way of expressing the fear that you might have to make some different decisions. One decision might be, I'm going to live with this and I'm going to deal with my own feelings. Or the other decision might be, I need to not live with this person because I'm too upset or I get too triggered or whatever. So it's very challenging, isn't it? I'm not getting a response yet from Amy. So, Amy, is this clear what I'm saying to you? Meanwhile, other people think of something you might want me to look at. Okay. Well, James, did you understand what I was saying about Amy?
Yeah.
Okay, we are not getting a response from me. I know there is a lag, because of Facebook. So can someone else put out a question in the meantime? Oh.
Here we are. Amy says, yes, I'd have to deal with the discomfort of asking her to leave. But maybe it's my fault that I react.
Okay. No, I'm not talking about the discomfort of you having to ask her to leave, which you don't want to deal with. You don't want to deal with the discomfort of not having her as a housemate. You don't want to deal with the fear about financial insecurity, the fear of the next person could be worse if you find someone. You want to keep the status quo. And so you've developed a method, which is you blow up, you threaten to have her leave. She gets insecure, then you make up, and then you can go back to doing the same pattern over and over. And it may be your fault that you react, but that isn't the point that I'm making. I'm saying that what you have to deal with is that you would have to change your life if you faced it. Or you would have to change yourself. One way or the other, there's something big for you to change. Just like I'm saying with this person that I would have to look at the decisions that I'm making about my life based on saying this person really can't understand this or can't really do this. Like the daughter who can't take over the business. But no, I'd rather get angry and be angry that my daughter can't take care of it, or say she could, but she doesn't want to, whatever. It's like, oh my God, I have to change my entire life's plans. Okay. I would love to hear from somebody else. I can't believe that Amy is the only person who is interested in figuring out themselves if they're feeling anger, if they're feeling fear. So I'm just going to play the piano for a minute. By the way, if you were to get clear that this is a fear that you have about that you would have to really change your life, you can discuss that with her as an ally instead of as your enemy. If we always believe that someone is doing something to us, they are always our enemy. And when they are our enemy, we can't unite with them to solve a problem, can we? So while we are still waiting and maybe nobody else is going to ask a question publicly, I would like to say that you are listening to Lighting the Way, Granny Raps and Rocks tonight. And we broadcast every Wednesday night at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. And you never know what I'm going to talk about. But I'm always talking about our inner selves and our inner beings. And I play the piano at the same time. And every Thursday night, we do a program called Magical Improvs. And we play. I improvise and James improvise. And we have a wonderful time doing it. So that is Thursdays at 7 p.m. Lighting the Way is Wednesdays at 6:30. So if you are getting something from this program, please like or love the show. please share it with other people because I'm not the only one who suffers from this problem. And remember, okay, here we go.
Oh, Tracy says, I feel fearful about global warming. I don't really connect to anger about it. Mostly I find myself blocking it out.
Right. Well, you are dealing with a different duality. Is you've got fear or denial going on. And so that is another way that we deal with our fear. Tonight I just dealt with the angry part, but let me see, Tracy, if I can connect to any anger in you about it. Absolutely, you're very angry about global warming. But if you could connect to your anger, in your case, see, you would rather be fearful because if you connected to your anger, you would feel like you had to do something about it because I happen to know you and I know that you have a child. And that whatever mess we are faced with, your daughter is going to be faced with more because it's only getting worse. And you're angry about it. And you're angry that no one has taken on, even though we've been warned. So you do have anger and you're masking that behind the fear.
And we have another comment. April, she says, hi. Always nice to see you both.
And it is always nice to see you
Thank
too.
You, April. Nice to see you
So
too.
please share this program. We're kind of running out of time. If you put down something after the show in a comment, I will try to answer, but it's much easier for me to connect to you when you're live and I can pick up what's going on like I did with Tracy. It was easy for me.
I'd like to add a comment here too.
Okay.
Speaking as a man, and when I'm around men, I always try to act stronger because men can fight you, hurt you. Of course, any human could too. And so I've noticed that men, for most men, anger is the easiest emotion to access. So fear is right there, but anger masks it. And I find that happens over and over with me.
I'm sure that's true. Very good. So we are actually at the end of our program tonight. Can you believe it? So please like, love, follow our page and think about the question that I'm asking. Even if you're not going to share it here publicly, think about something that you're angry about and ask yourself, is it anger or is it fear? It could be something else as well, but I think the denial that Tracy brought up was really based on that, yes, she has anger, but she's afraid of the consequences of that to her life. It might change her life. See, we're afraid to change our lives. Mm-hmm. So if she felt her anger, she might have to change her life. So that's it. So we're done for tonight. So come back next week and share this program with other people.
Thanks for joining us. Glad to have you with us. And bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.